What's up, YouTube? Knight's Edge here again, coming at you with a pretty awesome review of a pretty cool knife. Spoiler alert, I like this one a lot if you're just wondering my opinion on it. Don't really want to listen to me ramble and gush about it or whatever. I really think this is a pretty good knife overall. Had this one in the collection for quite a while, and just now getting around to doing a review on it. So before I get into that, hit the like button if you like the comment down below. It helps out the algorithms and helps me out a lot. Hit the subscribe if you want to listen to me ramble and stutter and try to act like I know about knives a little more. That's pretty cool. Comment on it, let me know what you think. Let me know if you got one of these. Really would love to know what you guys think about this one. It's been out for a while. It was quite the hit in the community whenever it came out, and for a good reason. So without further ado, there you go. Without further ado, that's the Maxace knives. I was supposed to do it all cool, and be like, this is the Maxace knives Black Mirror. But yeah, this is the Maxace knives Black Mirror. Really cool knife by Maxace, and pretty carryable compared to their normal stuff, right? Chinese company Maxace. They do some pretty cool stuff. Got a lot of really cool knives and really ridiculous knives. The Hephaestus, they do some crazy stuff, but they really did good with this one. This is a great knife. Before I get into my overall thoughts on it, which you kind of already know, right? Let's go ahead and do all the specs. All the specs I try to keep consistent and normally do. We'll go with about 7.5 inches, I'd say, from the tip of the blade all the way to the end of the handle right there. Blade length overall, if you go all the way back to the handle minus that little choil, you are looking at 3.5 inches. Cutting edge coming in right at 3 1/8, so pretty good right there, I think, for what you're getting as far as the overall length. And really, I had to double check that because it feels like a more full-size knife, but yeah, 7.5 inches, kind of like what I would consider kind of in the medium realm, but it definitely feels like a full-size knife for sure. Let's go ahead and do size comparisons. We'll do the Ontario Knives Rat Model 1, Ontario Knives Rat Model 2. So overall, right around the same as the Rat 2 overall, but look at the extra cutting edge you're getting with that. That's pretty good. Put the Ontarios away here, and let's get out the Spyderco Para 3 and the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So a little closer in overall length to the Para 3, very close actually, but cutting edge you get substantially a bit more with the Black Mirror, because you've got less finger choil right there. And last but not least, with the size comparisons, let's do the Cold Steel Knives 8010, which is much larger, and the Demco Knives 8020.5. Alright, get it right in there. So that's essentially, it is very close to the 8020. This is a slicer 8020.5. Get a little bit more cutting edge with the Black Mirror than the 8020.5. Got the scale here. This is our NASA calibrated Walmart scale. Weight on it 3.8 ounces. Let's double check that. 3.9, man. NASA's getting a little off there, maybe 3.8ish, around 3.8 ounces, over the ounce and inch ratio, but it carries pretty well, especially for having those titanium handles. Very, very good on the weight there. To me, I mean, that's pretty good. Milled titanium pocket clip that is inset, has an inset screw. Where's that? Right there. All right, so that's pretty cool. They didn't do the same thing on the other side, so that means it's right-handed, tip up carry only, unfortunately for lefties. Pretty good centering, especially considered that I have taken this thing apart a couple of times, and we'll get into the reasons why here in just a second. But let's go ahead and put her in the pocket, see what we got. Old blue jeans here, you got a little bit sticking up, pretty good for a milled titanium clip. It's almost deep carry, you know, but definitely doesn't stick out like an incredible, you know, crazy amount like a lot of your other standard non-deep carry clips do. So I really like it. I'm a big fan of that pocket clip. No issues there at all, you know. Blue jeans. Overall weight, once again, 3.8 ounces. Just keep that in mind, because this is probably one of the factors that blew me away about this knife. You know, I kept thinking, man, this thing's got to be heavier. It's got to be like the overall length's got to be more, and it very much wasn't. You know, this has been a surprisingly great knife to carry for sure. Very comfortable. Before I get into ergonomics, though, let's do a hardware check. This is a, let's see, let's start with this is a T8 captive pivot on this. They do have T8, I think. Let me, yeah, T8, definitely a T8. Little lock bar screw there, T8 on that. Everything on this appears to be T8. Pretty awesome. A+ on the hardware. You know, I had no issues taking it apart. I am not the best at disassemblies. You will not see a ton of those on my channel for a reason. You know, I do them, and I have been trying to get better. Probably going to do more and more as time goes on. But yeah, definitely even for me, and this was, shoot, maybe over a year ago at least, that I disassembled this thing and put it back together. Did it a couple times, and the reason why was because it felt like a little grindy, you know, like the action. I was very curious about the action. It's running on washers, so no bearings, but it does, and this has been very much open and close quite a bit. You know, I've deployed this knife, I'd say, shoot, safe to say hundreds and hundreds, maybe 1,000 times. You know, it has definitely been used at work. You can tell by the snail trail. Well, get that little lint out there, get it out the way. You can tell by the kind of snail trails on that finish right there, and the faded parts on the pocket clip. Maxace right there again on the pocket clip. Nice pivot collar. Jimping right here, that's pretty cool. You know, whenever you're grabbing this thing, it is incredibly comfortable in hand. Ergonomics on this thing are awesome. Really like that. This is, I guess I would consider this like choke back, you know, and even choke back got a little bit of extra room. I wear a large size glove. I've got average size hands, I guess, so that's pretty cool. Choked up, you can get all the way up in there, and you feel pretty well locked in. That deployment hole works pretty nice. The action on it, as I said before, I did when I first got this thing, I was like, man, this thing is like, you know, you kind of almost feel like you know, it's kind of grindy. You know, I don't know how else to describe it. The SOG Kiku was very similar in that regard to me as far as the action goes. You know, the SOG Kiku, of course, is running on a different system there than this one is. This one's running on washers. But yeah, after I took it apart, put it back together, I've had no issues with it, and it seems like it just needed to work in, right? Maybe I was being impatient. One thing about this knife, handing it, as I've noticed, to non-knife people, and this might just be my experience, I don't know. Let me know what you guys' experience is with it, you know, down in the comments for sure. But people, especially with frame locks like this, they tend to grab them and they're like, I can't open it, you know, because a lot of people don't know that you are pressing it. Whenever you press against that frame lock, of course, you're pushing it in, so you're fighting against yourself, right? Good lock bar activation there. You see the little detent ball in there. Let's see, right about there is where the detent sits, which is pretty cool. You know, definitely not a double clutch. You can get your fingers out of the way just fine. Detent works just fine. my preferred method of opening and opening it is the reverse flick, and it is a little bit different of a reverse flick than like a Spyderco Para 3 or Paramilitary 2, you know, where normally you could, you know, you just got to make sure you're not pushing up against that lock bar. Once you get past that and you kind of learn, you know, the way that it deploys with no problem, you know, fires out just fine every time. So really like this blade shape, this little upsweep, I guess, almost, I don't even know what you'd call it. Kind of like a sheep's footy, I don't know. No idea what to call this blade shape. Let me know that in the comments too if you guys want. Drop point, I don't know. Sheep's foot, drop point, modified, I don't know. Titanium on the handles, really cool. Titanium back spacer there, that's awesome. I love back spacers, help kind of keep pocket lint out. Really nice milling and contouring and everything on that. Really big mill lines, or jimp lines, I guess you could call it, on that back spacer. It sits almost flush, but just enough poking out to where those grooves are sitting flush. And that's just a really nice back spacer, I think. Really big fan of that. So ergonomically, awesome knife. Hardware wise, awesome knife. You know, this one came in M390, as you can see right there on the blade. Black mirror Bowler M390 right there, and essentially sterile on that. This has got a, you know, you can see a stone wash finish. No lanyard hole, not really that big of a deal. Not really concerned about that. I'm not too into lanyards. I know some people are, and that's fine, but this one not really a spot for a lanyard right there, so keep that in mind if you're into lanyards a whole bunch, if that's a deal breaker for you. But this M390, I've resharpened this only once. You know, it's held an edge pretty good. I don't know how they heat treat their stuff, but to me this is pretty cool. You know, pretty good M390. It hasn't rusted. I haven't had any corrosion issues with it at all. Just a really good overall knife, and very, very much I'm going to put this on my most recommended knives playlist. If you guys want to check that out down below under playlists. Centering on it turned out to be pretty good, you know, pretty well centered right there, even after a couple disassemblies done by someone with not too much experience at the time. You know, not that I'm a know-it-all now or anything like that, but yeah, at the time I didn't have a whole heck of a lot of experience with it, disassemblies. So this is actually one of the first few knives I disassembled. And I don't know, man, I can't put my finger on it. Maybe like a couple years I've had this. I don't know when they came out. I can't remember, but I have had it for a good while. You know, I haven't shown it on the channel yet, so pretty happy with it. Definitely worth the purchase. And the price on this thing, 150 bucks, man, is crazy. You know, 142 on BladeHQ, but they're sold out right now of every flavor of them. They do have a couple versions, some really cool carbon fiber inlays, like a raindrop. I went with the titanium because I love titanium, you know, kind of like the plain finish, plain titanium gray and gold. I thought that looked pretty well, pretty good. The newer ones, the newer black mirrors, or maybe they're even black mirror 2s, I'm not sure about that, but they are in S90V now, which is, in my mind, superior still to M390. But yeah, M390 no slouch either. Great knife steel, really cool curvature on the blade to help with those awesome ergonomics. You know, everything about this is very well chamfered, very well finished. You know, this is, as I said again, a knife that I'm definitely gonna recommend. It's going to be on the most recommended knives playlist. Oh, also look at that on the lock bar right there. You know, even got some grooves, you know, a little kind of, I guess you could call it jimping even, and contouring on the lock bar. So that is very nice, very comfortable there. For sure, an awesome knife. Good carry, great knife. Maxace black mirror. They're not available where I could find right now on especially On BladeHQ, all the versions they have are sold out, so I'm sure they're available. You could most definitely, I'm sure, get it off of Blade Binge or, you know, or eBay, but these do go for around 150 bucks, which is, again, in my mind, an awesome price, you know, for what you're getting. It's a really good knife for that price, especially if you get the S90V version, which I would, you know, I wish I would have known they were coming out with that. I would have definitely would have waited, but the M390 version's, you know, no slouch either. It's an awesome knife. So hit the like button if you like the content, if you like the review, you want to if you want to watch more of me, heck, hit the subscribe button down below. I really appreciate it. Thanks to all my subscribers, channel members, Patreons. You guys are awesome. Until next time, y'all, hope you enjoyed the video. Stay sharp.